Denny Hamlin came to Pocono with 2 straight wins, the pole, and a chance NASCAR drivers almost never get. One more perfect Sunday would give him 3 in a row for the first time in his full-time Cup career. But Pocono was not simple. Fuel was tight, teammates were gambling, Tyler Reddick was closing. Then Hamlin made history, and NASCAR was left speechless. Pocono Raceway did not hand this win to Denny Hamlin. It made him earn every part of it. This was the Great American Getaway 400, the 16th points race of the 2026 NASCAR Cup season. The summer stretch was starting. The chase field was getting closer. Every point had weight, and Hamlin arrived as the hottest driver in the garage. He had already won at Nashville. Then he won at Michigan. Now he was coming to Pocono, a track where his name already carried weight. Before the race, Hamlin had 7 Cup wins at the Tricky Triangle. But this time, the story was bigger than another Pocono trophy. He was trying to win 3 Cup races in a row. That had never happened in his 21-year full-time Cup career. Hamlin had won Daytona 500s. He had won Crown Jewel races. He had spent years as one of the sharpest veterans in the sport. But even with all that, he had never stacked 3 straight points wins. That is why this was not just another Sunday. It was a chance to turn a hot streak into a historic run. And Pocono made it harder right away. Hamlin did not start in traffic. He started first. On Saturday, he won the Busch Light pole with a lap of 173.250 miles per hour. It was his 4th pole of the 2026 season and the 51st pole of his Cup career. That sounds like control, but in NASCAR, starting first can be a trap. Kyle Larson started beside him and showed speed fast. When the green flag dropped, Larson grabbed the early lead and stayed out front for the first 24 laps. For a moment, Pocono looked like it might break the Hamlin run before it even got going. But here is the first rehook. This race was not going to be won by raw speed alone, it was going to be won by timing. Hamlin hunted Larson down on the long run. That matters at Pocono because the track has 3 different corners that punish a weak car in 3 different ways. Turn 1 is fast. The tunnel turn is risky. Turn 3 can decide the whole front stretch. At lap 24, Hamlin took the lead from Larson. Later, with 6 laps left in stage 1, he passed Larson again to win the opening stage. That was the first sign that Hamlin had a car built for the long game. But the real danger was still coming. Stage 2 showed why Pocono is called the Tricky Triangle. Some teams stopped early. Some stayed out. Some gave up short-term points to set up better track position later. It was a chess game at 180 miles per hour. Tyler Reddick took the lead after staying out. John Hunter Nemechek also became a major player. He led a race-best 42 laps in the number 42 Toyota, more laps than he had led across either the 2024 or 2025 seasons. Legacy Motor Club was in the fight. Then the race got messy. Zane Smith spun out of turn 1 and hit the inside wall. Soon after, Shane Van Gisbergen and Josh Berry made contact while racing in the pack. Austin Hill made it 3 wide, and the crash pulled in 9 cars. That moment changed track position. It pulled teams into new strategy. It gave some drivers a chance and buried others. Pocono was no longer just about who had the fastest car. It was about who had the cleanest plan. Todd Gilliland stretched fuel and won stage 2. It was the first stage win of his Cup career. That told everyone the same thing. Fuel was now part of the finish. And that made Hamlin's path more dangerous. Who could go fast and still make it to the end? The wildest part of the finish did not start with Hamlin. It started with Christopher Bell. Bell was already driving through pain. 1 week earlier at Michigan, he suffered a broken left wrist in an accident. At Pocono, he was still in the car, still fighting, still trying to steal a win through strategy. Late in the race, Bell and crew chief Adam Stevens made the brave call. Sev fuel. Stay out. Try to reach the finish. It was risky, but it made sense. Bell had been stuck back in the 20s. A normal race was not going to give him the win. So the number 20 team tried to flip the board. And for a while, it looked possible. Bell was leading. Hamlin was coming. Reddick was chasing. The laps were falling. This is where the race turned from strong to speechless. Hamlin had to do more than drive fast. He had to close the gap without burning up his own chance. He had to pass a teammate without making a mistake. He had to finish the job while the points leader, Reddick, was still in play behind him. With 4 laps to go, Hamlin caught Bell. Then he passed him. That was the winning move. But the drama did not end there. Bell ran out of fuel as the field took the white flag. He fell to 26th. The gamble had almost worked, but Pocono took it away at the cruelest time. Hamlin kept going. Reddick kept chasing. The title fight was sitting right there on the track. Denny Hamlin crossed the line first. Tyler Reddick finished second, 1.678 seconds behind him. William Byron finished third. John Hunter Nemechek finished fourth, his best result of the season. Kyle Larson finished fifth, but the story was Hamlin, because this was his 3rd straight Cup win. Nashville, Michigan, Pocono, 3 races, 3 trophies, 3 Sundays where the number 11 team found a way. This was also Hamlin's 4th win of the 2026 season. It was his 64th career Cup win. And at Pocono, it was his record 8th Cup victory at the track. But the part that hit hardest was the history list. With 64th Cup wins, Hamlin moved into sole 9th on NASCAR's all-time wins list. He moved ahead of the late Kyle Busch. That gave the moment a weight bigger than points. 1 week earlier at Michigan, Hamlin had tied Busch on the wins list and paid tribute to him with a black number 18 flag. He spoke about how Busch had taught him so much as a teammate. Now, 1 race later, Hamlin had passed him. That is why this win felt heavy. It was not just a number. It was a line in NASCAR history moving in real time. Before this run, Tyler Reddick had control of the standings. He had built a lead of more than 100 points earlier in the season. That kind of gap can make a driver look safe. But Hamlin did not chip away slowly. He attacked it. After Michigan, the gap had already dropped to 51 points. After Pocono, it was down to 19 points. That is the part NASCAR cannot ignore. Reddick still led the standings. He still had 5 wins. He still had one of the best seasons in the garage. But Hamlin was no longer just second in points. He was pressure. And there is an extra layer. Hamlin is not just racing Reddick. He co-owns Reddick's 2311 racing team with Michael Jordan. So every point gained against Reddick adds a strange twist. Hamlin is trying to beat a driver from his own business world while driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. That makes this title fight different. It is not just veteran versus younger star. It is owner versus his own driver. It is momentum versus points. It is history versus the future. And after Pocono, momentum belonged to Hamlin. Hamlin said after the race that the whole Joe Gibbs Racing team was giving him fast cars, and that the pit crew was flawless. That was the truth of the streak. A driver does not win 3 straight Cup races by accident. The car has to be right. The pit stops have to be clean. The calls have to match the race. And the driver has to know when to wait and when to attack. At Pocono, Hamlin showed all of it. He did not panic when Larson led early. He won stage 1. He stayed in the strategy fight. He chased down Bell late. He held off Reddick. Then post-race inspection cleared the win. The win stood, and that leaves the rest of NASCAR with a problem. If Hamlin can win at Nashville, win at Michigan, and win at Pocono, then this is not a track-type fluke. That is the warning. He is not just fast on one style of racetrack. He is winning in different ways. That is how a hot streak becomes a title threat. Denny Hamlin's Pocono win landed in 3 different places at once. It changed his season, it changed the standings, and it changed the history book. The race gave him his first 3-race Cup winning streak as a full-time driver. It gave him his 64th career win. It gave him sole 9th on the all-time Cup wins list. It gave him a record 8th Pocono victory, and it cut Reddick's points lead to only 19. That is not a normal race result, that is a shockwave. And the hardest part for the rest of the field is this. Hamlin does not look like a driver hoping the streak keeps going. He looks like a driver who expects it to keep going. Now every team has to look at the number 11 Toyota differently. Not as a veteran car that can steal a win. Not as a Pocono specialist who got the job done at his favorite track. But as a championship-level threat that just turned the middle of the season into his own statement. Pocono did not just give Denny Hamlin another trophy. It gave NASCAR a new problem, and that is why Denny Hamlin's historic Pocono win left NASCAR speechless.